you think if one day your child comes to you asking for the latest cell phone model? What would you think? What will be your reaction? Well, this situation is not far from reality. Nowadays, parents and teachers are noticing a common pattern among teenagers that all seem to look alike. Same haircut, same way of dressing, and same things on their phone. But what lies behind all this situation? What is causing this loss of identity in our teenagers? Every day, millions and millions of young people scroll on their cell phone content of perfect lifestyles, luxuries, and fame. We live in a world where identity is no longer built by experience but by algorithm. So, what happens when our identities are not shaped by who we truly are, but by what we consume? In this talk, we want to explore how consumer society and social media are influencing the way teenagers build and sometimes lose their identities. To understand what is happening with teenagers today, we first need to understand what a consumer society really is. Consumer society is a social system where people feel constantly pressured to obtain more and more goods, not because they need it, but because they believe those things define who they are. This problematic is not something new. It has been promoted many years ago with TV commercials and publicities on magazines and newspapers. Today, through social media, this has become more and more evident and strong. If you take a look in any social media, at least the content that you will see will be paid promotion and people recommending things that you must buy. Back then, we could recognize what an ad was. Today, the line between real life and marketing has almost disappeared. Now, imagine that you are a 13-year-old and every single day you are watching people on your cell phone telling you what you should wear, how you should talk, and what mobile device you should have. Without noticing, you start to change everything in you to fit in the trends. You believe that who you are depends on what you own, and that's how the loss of identity begins.
Also, social media algorithms make this stronger. The more you watch something, the more similar things you see. If a teenager likes video about fashion, they app shows more fashion video. So they only see one kind of world, a world of products and trends. Some studies, like one from UNICEF, say that more than 18% of teenagers use social media every day. Many of them compare their lives with others. This can make them feel sad or insecure. They forget that real life is not social media, but not everything is bad. Social media can also help teenagers express how they are through music, art, or ideas. They can learn new things and connect with people from other cultures. The problem is not using social media, but how we use it. They must learn to be critical. That means we must think and ask, do I really need this? Or why do I want this? Experts from UNICEF Uruguay explain that social media is very powerful for teenagers. When they are online, they try to show how they are and how they want others to see them. But it's very hard for them to disconnect because they want to belong, to be a part of a group, and they are afraid to be rejected. When a teenager gets a like or a follow, their brain produces sometimes called dopamine and oxytocin. These are chemicals that make people feel good and happy for a short time. That is why they want to shake their phones all the time. Every like makes them feel a little safer or more accepted.
Teenagers need validation from their peers. If they don't own the latest products, they often feel less valuable, like losers or failures. Everywhere we look, television, advertisement, radio stations, fashion magazines, and even our favorite artists constantly pressure us through the consumer society to shape the way we think. During adolescence, young people are searching for acceptance, recognition, for a sense of identity and belonging. This is why they rely often without realizing it on cultural standards. As a consequence, teenagers are developing weak and fragmented identities as they are increasingly dependent on the cultural patterns of consumption, creating selfish personalities and commercial versions of themselves. According to UNICEF, many 14 years old are exposed to 1,260 ads on social media alone. Just imagine that. Over 1,000 messages daily, all telling them what to buy, how to look, and who to be. With new products constantly flooding the market, we must stop and reflect. Are young people living to consume or living to build a meaningful present and future? As a teacher or parent, if you ask a teenager about the latest phone, the newest sneakers, or the most fashionable clothes, they will probably talk for hours and hours about the technology behind these products and the innovations coming next. But what happens if you change the topic? If you ask them about their dreams, the meaning of life, hard work, and detachment from material things, then the same hour is barely enough to give a short answer. Young people need guidance from teachers, parents, friends to understand why their individual identity matters in today's society. They need to rediscover themselves, their abilities, weaknesses, and real selves, all while resisting the patterns of the consumer society. Maybe you could ask your children or younger friends or relatives, do you truly know who you are, or do you only know what the market is selling you as your identity? Because if we don't ask these questions, we are raising a generation that knows how to shop but not how to live and dream. Thank you so much.